This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids.
What up, everybody? This your boy Black Magus, and I know I've been out of commission. I sound like I've been out of commission, man. It's been a rough week, and I've not caught up on E3 stuff. But I'm gonna start by doing some little small videos and eventually build up to the bigger ones. And of course, we're gonna be getting the podcast done over on Wise Guy Gaming, Sports, and Entertainment, and just doing some other stuff on this channel as well, along with working with my boys on their channels. If they want to collab, feel free to hit me up. As always, fellas, Eurostrix, A Flying Modem, you know what's up. Those are my boys for life. Anyway, so let's get to the topic at hand of this video, because I'm tired and I want to make sure I get this done, because it's a question that's rolling all around, of course, in the gaming community. And it's the Xbox One X, which is now the official name of the Xbox Project Scorpio. The question of the, I guess the hour is, will the Xbox One X succeed? That's what a lot of people are asking. Now, you guys know my opinions on it. It's the same way I felt about the PS4 Pro. Who is this for? Why is this needed? And what's the purpose? I'm not a big fan of iterative consoles, and I really haven't been a fan of the fact that Microsoft is now putting out their second iterative console. It's funny because somebody to me was trying to say that Sony put out the same amount of versions of consoles. Not true. The thing, when I say a different version, I'm not talking about you making a smaller version. Everybody does that. I make a slim version. It's the same specs, basically. They may take out a port or two, like they did with the PlayStation Slim. Kind of like how when the Xbox 360, and then they had the Xbox 360 Elite, and then you saw the Xbox 360S. It was pretty much the same piece of hardware, just different design, things, different hard drive sizes. That to me isn't changing a console. That's just you improving upon the original model using the same specs. You know what I mean? That's what they did with the PlayStation Slim. So the PlayStation Pro is a upgrade. It has more power. It offers more abilities. So that's what I mean by iterative, different, upgrade. The Xbox S boosts the power, added new features, and now the Xbox One X does the same thing. So that's what I mean when I say different. I don't count, because if you want to make a case for different consoles, in my opinion, anytime they come out with a different color, a special edition, all of that would count in being different, because it's not 100% the same as the original release. So that, hopefully that clarifies my stance on that. Now, moving on. Damn it, my phone just went crazy. Anyway, moving on to the Xbox One X and where it stands. Now, this is the third version that they've come out with since 2013. A lot of people, and I think Microsoft has said it also, that this is part of their plan on getting back on top of the gaming, industry, I guess, which means being the best-selling console, being the more popular brand. Now, I've argued, one, that's not a bad. It's not necessarily a bad want, but I feel like their way of going about it has always been bad. This fact that you're going to keep pushing out new hardware to try to get people to say, no, we're the best. Now, I understand part of it is because when the whole new generation started and people started to say, well, PlayStation does this better, it started to make this argument that PlayStation is the more powerful console. And I guess Microsoft got that fixed in their head and obsessed with that idea, which I found laughable, considering last console generation, they weren't winning because they were quote unquote the most powerful console. They were the better platform to record on, to develop on. They were easier. They didn't have as many loops to go with PlayStation. They were the more affordable console. They got the attention of developers because of their ease of development and easier to work with, even though PlayStation 4 was technically considered the most powerful console. And I say technically in the literal sense because from tech specs wise, PlayStation 4 was I said 3 was a better piece of hardware. But developers didn't jump on it because of the difficulty to work on it, and consumers didn't jump on it because the thing was $600 goddamn dollars in comparison to a $400 piece of hardware. Or if you wanted to get the Elite one, you can pay $500 and get a huge hard drive. You know, it was you got something for doing that. PlayStation 4 was just expensive. PlayStation 3, and I keep making that mistake. Sorry, it's been a while since I did a video, but yeah, the PlayStation 3 was a super expensive piece of hardware that was hard to work on for a lot of developers, even though it had the power that they wanted. It has things like Blu-ray, which better capacity, all of that. But no, developers didn't want to do it, so they flocked to Xbox 360. 360 took over the generation. Now, we know at the end, PlayStation pretty much catched up. Now, how did they do this? They didn't go about and keep touting what they did in the beginning about how they're more powerful and how they're the luxury console and blah, 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 blah. They went back to the basics. They retooled to make a more affordable piece of hardware. Then their whole thing was, you know what? We have great exclusives. We have great content. Let's market that. So they came up with the VIP of gaming character, things like that. Did the great commercials. Marketed the games. They weren't trying to push the people, hey, we're the best piece of equipment. They built themselves back up on the model that we're a great platform for you as a gamer to play on. And they stuck to their guns, and slowly but surely, they kept growing, and eventually they caught Microsoft. Now, here's the thing. The Xbox brand is not unsuccessful this generation. Yes, Sony's outselling them 2-1, but they're outpacing the Xbox 360, which is one of the highest selling consoles in history. You know, that console's over 80 million, close to 90 million, I think, right now in sales. That's a phenomenal number. And they're outpacing that at the moment. So, from a business aspect, your success is like fucking through the roof. So, even though you're not the top dog, you're doing fucking phenomenal. So, this obsession with chasing down Sony, again, I understand competition is good. Sometimes it's good to be very competitive. But I feel like it's still leading them to make the wrong mistake. They're obsessed with this power thing. I know we're in a generation now where people are a lot more impressed by numbers. Numbers that a lot of these people who are impressed by it don't even know what the hell are about, let's be honest. Or wouldn't care about if they weren't talked about a lot. That being said, they can build on their success and they can gain by building their gaming library, promoting their gaming library, like making it their focus, like, hey, this is what we offer, this is what we do the best. Xbox Live always been considered the best platform to game on consoles, you know, stuff like that. The Xbox ID program, which is doing very, very well. They're getting a lot of great games. Stop just identifying yourself with Halo, Gears, and Forza. And, hey, give studios a chance to come to you and create different games. Build your set of exclusives, your base. Again, PS3 caught up mainly because they just started making great games and they started focusing on selling the great games. It can happen with Microsoft. And even if they don't catch up, fuck it. You're going to outsell your last console. You're doing fucking great. The biggest problem with this generation with Microsoft, to be quite honest, was when they came out and marketed the Xbox One, it was the marketing fiasco. It was the Don Matrix plan. It was the whole, if you can't be online all the time, then keep your 360. The whole making people jump through holes. Like, you have to use Kinect for this. And you want this, selling it more as a multimedia box instead of a gaming platform. When people weren't expecting that. Things like that. It was their marketing mistakes, to be fair, that buried the Xbox One. Honestly, if Xbox One had been promoted on a similar level as the 360 had in its beginning, yeah, people might have still had the argument like, well, PlayStation looks a little better. Nobody would have cared because Microsoft, if they would have kept their ease of development, which a lot of people complained about because all the TV stuff, the Kinect stuff, took away from the base box's power for development because all that stuff had to be allocated to those particular platforms. So you were getting pieces of your potential development taken away. Now those things aren't the focus anymore and have had their power taken away. It's a little easier. And I guess this is where the Xbox One being buffed up the way it is can help because it may put the platform on what the PS4 it's going to be above the PS4, but if they had did this in the beginning, it would have been on the PS4 level because the gamer development community would have had all the power that they wanted to for just gaming. PS4 does a lot of stuff to its extra amenities. In fact, Sony has scaled back on the other media things. So that's why they don't have a 3D. That's why they don't have a 4K Blu-ray, anything like that, because they're like, people don't really buy physical media anyway. Let's tone that down. We can a lot more of the power to the gaming side of things, which is where it should be. So there were things that Microsoft could have done in the beginning where they wouldn't feel the need to now put out this more powerful console. But now that they have this more powerful console, again, the question is becoming, will this be a success? And that's the problem. The thing is, it's just like with the Xbox One S. It sells, as far as I'm concerned, pretty well compared to the base product. And I think that the Xbox One X will sell well. But what is going to be the mark of success, especially since Microsoft is looking at these things to lift them ahead of the competition? If it don't sell enough to pull them at least dead even with Sony, is it a failure? Personally, no. That's the thing, and this is where it drives me crazy with Microsoft because they're putting themselves in the position and they're saying things that's going to make people think, oh, well, if they don't catch up or outsell Sony, they failed. And that's not necessarily true because, again, they're not failing. Sony sold, about 50 million PS4s collectively. Microsoft, over 20, maybe 25 million. Okay, Sony's beating you. You're selling fucking over 20-something million consoles in a generation where everybody has told people, this is it. Consoles don't matter no more. People are getting more into PCs. Consoles not going to sell that much anyway because people don't want to get into consoles anymore. This is probably the last hurrah for consoles, period. And consoles are selling better at a pace better than they've ever sold. So that is why it frustrates me because it's like they're trying to bully their way to the top by just keep throwing money at the problem. And I felt like you have a good product. Sit back, re-strategize your marketing, and build on it. I mean, at the end of the day, hey, cool. We have new hardware to buy. It's always good for us tech people. And, you know, there are going to be people who are going to have that allure, especially if you're a brand loyalist. If you're a brand loyalist, you're going to be all in no matter what. You're going to buy each better version of the hardware. But to the general public, general consumership, none of this stuff matters. And that's my biggest thing. None of this matters to the general public. Cost is going to play a big part. This is a $500 console. You can get a 3S, which is a better version of the Xbox One in itself, and does a lot of things. You know, it has some 4K capabilities, not a full-fledged quote-unquote 4K machine like they're advertising the Xbox One X to be, but it plays games very well at an affordable price, and it's not like you're going to be left out if you don't have an X, because any game Microsoft comes out is going to play on every one of the Xbox Ones, including the original release. And those games don't look bad. They're not going to be the best, quote-unquote, looking games or version of the game. But for a lot of people who consume video games, none of that shit matters. Nobody gives a fuck. So, you're selling to a specific crowd that is that heavy into this stuff, and that have the affordable income, because even once you get this, yes, it makes regular 1080p TV displays look better, but you don't get a 4K display. You just get a more enhanced 1080p resolution. You get some things like HDR that can be filtered in on occasion, stuff like that. But it's not going to be the true experience that they're selling you. So now you have to buy a 4K TV, which they're getting more affordable, but there's so many different things that you need to look out for. Now you need to figure out what's the best one to get the best quality that you can get from this machine and things like that. And most general consumers aren't going to want to do that. Hey, I just want to play. I mean, we still have a significant amount of people out there who are very casual with their gaming and who have the mentality, yo, I just want to play some Madden and Call of Duty. As much as we complain about these games and these franchises and how quote-unquote dead they are, there's a huge market for those. So, yeah, there are people who want that. They just want to be able to play certain games, just maybe the most popular games. That's it. They're not looking deep into the meta of gaming and all of that. They don't know about the hardcore stuff that a lot of us do. They want to fucking pick up a box that will play some games for them to have fun, or to get something for their kid that they can enjoy. The 2 or 3 games a year that they get or whatever, because there's still people who limit their kids on gaming. Like, not everybody gets every game that comes out. So, don't matter how great Anthem's gonna look on Xbox One X if that's not what people are really focusing on. They just know, hey, my kid likes to play sports games. Just get him a new sports game every year so him and his friends can play. Boom. That's it. You know? Stuff like that. So, again, back to the original question. Will it be successful? In my mind, yes. But the way that I measure success is much different than everybody else. I think it's going to be successful in that it's going to sell a decent amount. It's going to have its market. It's going to appeal to the people who they're looking for. But is it going to be this grand blockbuster? Like, are we going to look back and say, Jesus, Xbox One X came out and it sold 20 million in its first year? I don't think so. Is it going to sell 10 million for first year? Probably not. 5? All things go perfectly, sure. But it's just going to be a compliment. It's a compliment now. They now have a 3-console market for a particular brand. And, you know, a lot of people might think that, okay, so that just means that the people in the store are just going to have to sell. Most people in stores just want to make a sale. So, unless it's a commission-based place where the more you make people spend, the more you make, they're not going to hard push these people to buy the Xbox One X. That's going to be all up to Microsoft's marketing and how much of an impression it makes. Again, general consumership, they're not going to look at these commercials and be like, oh, I got to get this. General consumership are the people who say, you know, my son wants a console. They dictate where the money's going. So if they can just hear, well, this is a good product and it's more affordable, they'll buy it. So the Xbox One X will probably be the thing that will push more, in my mind. And most stores, they're not gonna like bully their customers into spending the extra money, because what's the one thing you don't want working in a retail environment? You don't want anybody coming into your store and walking out without anything in their hands. You want them to get something. And if I can get you to spend $300-$400 as opposed to $500, I'm gonna take you $300-$400 instead of $0. So, unless Microsoft's gonna start paying stores to like sell these things, yeah, don't expect them to really force the issue. So that's my thing. The success of the Microsoft Xbox One X is just all going to be determinant on what is acceptable for Microsoft. If they are going to have an unrealistic view on this and expect them to sell like gangbusters, like this is the restart of a generation, like the Xbox One sold when it first came out, I think they're looking at a failure. But if they keep realistic expectations, they're fine. Just know that they're going to keep pace. They may increase some pace in their sales, but I don't see a phenomenal boost. So, you know, it just depends. It just depends on how we're looking at this. So that's my take on the success and failure of Xbox One, which everybody's talking about. And just to say this, because I haven't said it yet in a video, but just briefly, do I think it's a good console? Yes. I think it has some good specs. I think the $500 price is where it needed to be. I don't know if they could have ever gone less, because that would have really took a loss. Going more would have been suicidal. So $500, it settles. It definitely settles well in the market space. Now it's just up to making sure that people, you know, have reason to buy it. And that's the thing. Again, you're putting all your products all over the place, including PC, which is the most powerful platform, and which a lot of people have invested in now. Segmented market. It's rare to see a company segment themselves, but this is, in my opinion, what they're doing. So it's going to be interesting to see. I hope everybody who gets it enjoys it, and that it is a great console. Please, if you played on it, let me know. Would love to know your opinion. And that's about it. So, as always, feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Black Makers, and I'm out, y'all. Deuces.